Hey there, this is Tim with Peddling Pedals, and I wanted to make a little longer video after my cutting video that I shared a week ago. And, uh, and I really wanted to do it from a conceptual level, not a step-by-step how to do, but what I'm trying to accomplish and what I'm observing and how I'm adjusting my process to fit my goals. And it's all based on observation and then research on the Dahlia plant and what signals I'm seeing. Okay, I have a tuber here and a couple of different cuttings that I want to walk through you what I'm observing and what I'm thinking. And so here first is a tuber, which I'm pretty much sure everyone's seen, a body and neck, and then the crown, and the crown is where the eye is. And so yeah, the key thing here is there's a crown, and on none of all these cuttings there is no crown, and the tuber gets created from the crown, and the bigger the crown, the more the tubers. The smaller the crown, the less tubers, and maybe no tubers. And so what I'm really focused on, and the reason I'm talking about this conceptually, is I am trying to improve my cutting process and my growing process so I'm able to produce tubers from cuttings reliably. And that's a problem that's out there and talked about. And this is my journey so far of trying to solve that problem or improve it. So these are 3 different cuttings, and not all cuttings are the same. And while all of these 3 cuttings will root, and a lot of times a lot of talk is about rooting and rooting as fast as possible, again, I'm focused on how do I get more tubers, or how do I reliably get tubers from cuttings. And so that's leading me to try to understand things a little deeper. And so the first one I want to show you is this cutting here. And it's probably, 3 inches long. And this one is, you can compare it to a pencil, maybe half thickness of a pencil. And this one will root great. And it should even produce tubers. It has, I don't know if you can see them because it's very early. They're not well pronounced, but little white dashes, which is a sign of maturity on the stem, that the tissue is actually mature. The greener it is, as you go up the cutting, you can see this is almost a translucent green. While this node will still produce a cutting, I know this material is more focused on pushing up. The genetics and biology is really trying to focus the Dahlia to grow up. So while it will produce roots, I'm a little more concerned how well it's going to be producing tubers, because all of these cuttings are basically in survival mode right now. There's no tuber, there's no roots. It's just the energy and the capability that's right here. That's our determining factor. And so every part of the Dahlia leaves and stems are, do different things. So I know lower down the stem, they're more balanced, or it's better being prepared to deal with issues that may come up with the Dahlia. So this one is a good cutting. It's green. It's really translucent green on the top. So I have one node down here. I have a node up here that I'll root down here with the root riot. And then later on, I'll plant this under the soil, because this is another rooting and point to create crown material. So the crown will produce down here. And the energy that's here is what it is. So then I have another cutting. Now this one has a deeper purple coloring here. And you can even, I don't know if you can even see, there's little hairs here, which is a good sign, because I know it's mature and it's ready to try to produce roots here. And the purple color is a sign of maturity as well. It's a less reliable one. It's it's either genetics. The darker dahlias tend to have darker stems like this. But then also it's kind of a, what do you call it? It's a sun protection from high intensity LEDs or high intensity sun. If the more purple it is, that plant's trying to protect itself, and it'll produce better in high sun and high light environments. And you can also see the little white dashes here. So I know this is mature, and it's about 2 to 3 inches tall as well. But the stem is a lot thinner. So while I know this one will produce roots and we'll get good blooms out of it, a good plant out of it, I am more concerned, will it produce tubers, and will it produce tubers well and reliably? Because this is its capacity. If all the other conditions are perfect, it sure will. If all those other conditions have problems, like not enough daytime, or there's slow growth at times due to weather, things of that nature, this is going to put its structure, it's putting it into the energy into roots, and it's putting energy into shooting up and into flowers. But there's not a lot of stored energy here. And I know early on the crown is being developed, and the bigger the crown is, the more energy is to put the energy in the crown before the dahlia is full grown. It's really that crown development in the first 6, 8, 12 weeks that's going to determine, the viability of the tubers. So this is one, it'll root. I'm much more concerned about tubers due to the energy reserves in the stem and the carbohydrate reserves that are there. Now this one is a thicker one, so I'm always trying for pencil width or even a little bigger, but there's some disadvantages, but there are advantages. The advantages are I'm more likely to get tubers. There's much more energy reserves here. I do see the little white dashes. I know it's mature. I know it's mature material. It's a little bit longer. This one's 3 inches. I could have had it even longer, I believe. And why? But there's plenty of reserves. So I know this one, I have this node, it's going to produce roots. It'll produce crown material in the end. And I'll have another node here that I can put it in the soil. And then I can do some things during the growing time to produce, to help enable tubers as well. So if I go even bigger than this, these don't root as easy as these small ones. These small, thin ones will root much faster and much quicker. These are going to take a little more time for it to protrude through the hardened material, so that it's a more mature stem. It's not as soft, and so the roots take longer to get through there, an extra couple of days, and so it won't root as fast. So rooting fast comes from softer stem material, and so it'll root faster and it roots easier. The thicker the stem gets, the harder it gets to root, but there's more stored energy that it can help drive a bigger crown material earlier on in the development, which again, the size of the crown early on determines the potential capacity of developing tubers. And if you go even bigger to 1/2 inch stem, as long as it's not woody, it'll produce roots as well. It just takes a lot longer, and you're also prone to more rot because the stems have carbohydrates, so those are the energy reserves, and those are the sugars, and those sugars are what can trigger rotting. So this is a real quick snapshot of different kinds of cuttings and the advantages and disadvantages of those, and how it compares to a tuber. So they're a little bit behind. They're not as but we can start cuttings earlier than we can plant tubers in the soil, so we can kind of accommodate for some of the catch up due to the timeline as well. So yeah, so that was the demonstration I wanted to show you, and some of the concepts I wanted to share with you, and how my journey of dealing with cuttings and the differences between cuttings, and then in the future some of my gardening practices that I am testing and changing to improve tuber production from cuttings. And so, like I said, not all cuttings are the same. Some root easier, some root a little harder. Thinner stems root a little easier, thicker stems root a little slower. Thicker stems have more stored energy, so When a cutting's in survival mode, it has energy to put into tuber crown development, which then supports tuber production. So you can kind of see some of the trade-offs that are out there. So maybe you can become a little more aware as you go forward as well. And if you want to see some of my additional practices I go through the summer, please subscribe. Thanks much.